Yellow everyone. So this week you're in my dining room. So what I'm gonna do this week is I'm gonna do a cardboard house like we used to do when we were a kid. But since Christmas is coming, I thought I would do a Christmas theme cardboard house. So before starting, I just have to say I'm really sorry for the lighting and probably the placement of the camera because I couldn't find one of my two cameras, and I'm trying my best with the lighting here, but since I'm not in my office that it's usually downstairs, it's probably the best I'm gonna be able to do. Since it's also a Team Christmas video, I'm gonna do everything in my pajamas. So as you can see, that's my pajamas, and Tessa is probably gonna jump in my box a lot of times, so you're gonna see her a lot of time too, and I'm sorry about that, but I won't put her in a room just for a video because I think it's gonna take the whole month to do everything that I'm thinking of. So yeah, let's go to the video.
So before starting with the project, I did a little sketch of what I wanted for the big picture, and I did took out some stuff I think I would need. So before starting with all the beauty I've drawn, I need to assess the box a little bit. So I need to cover the rips and tears from the box, starting with this big hole. I just took some construction paper and sketch taped it onto it, while also making sure it was as slick as possible so it wouldn't show when I paint on it. I also did some little holes that were all around the box, probably from me trying to get the box out of the basement. After I was satisfied, I duct taped all the sides together to give it more height because I think it's really too small like that. At least I wouldn't fit. I did measure everything so I would know where everything would align. So after a little bit of math, yes, I did say math, you can see me dividing everything so I could take out the white part for the window, as shown on screen. I tilted the box to give me more support, and with all the elbow grease I had, I tried to cut the 3 layers of cardboard. As you can see, I struggle a little bit. But who cares, I'm just gonna become stronger. Psych, my back will hurt for a week. Also, to make sure I won't die from a paper cut, I made sure to sketch tape every cut I've made. I also think it gives it a more finished look, which will help with the paint. I also had a little problem with the box I chose. On every side, I would have these handles for transportation. And since it wasn't just a hole I could cover, I decided to cut them out and use them as stencil to replace them with a simple cardboard scrap. It's for sure not as perfect as if the box had none of it, but it's better than nothing. I like seeing the sketch tape way more than having a hole. And I'm gonna do the chimney inside right there, so I think it will cover it up. I then used the mat of earlier to do the same thing for the front where the door and the window would be. The window is a little bit smaller because it wouldn't fit otherwise. And I did section a little bit more of the door to help me later with my design. If anything went wrong, it would kind of show, so I was a little bit more stressed for this part. One of the main thing was the door, because if I did something wrong, it would probably show on the door or on the house, so I really wanted to be precise. After cutting out the door, I attacked its first step, repairing again the hole left by the handle. I then went ahead with this part of the design that I really wanted to be cut out, and with some butchered measurement, it ended up somewhat like I wanted. The only thing I can tell for certain right now is my measuring tape is 2 centimeters wide. Kind of ironic when you think of the fact that the measuring tape is in inches and not in centimeter. I'm talking about the orange one, the blue one is in centimeters. But yeah, I did these little squares to help me align everything. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. I did cut out everything off camera because I had a hard time, and let me just tell you, my table doesn't love me anymore. I think I did some permanent scratches. But it's fine, as an artist, I'm used to it. Anyway, so this part is the part I realized that if I don't cut off a little bit of the roof, the whole thing is probably gonna be the same height as me, so I took care of that. After that, the fourth or fifth big step before painting was the windows. I really wanted the same window style as my drawing, and to do so, I took some wooden cones from Dollarama. I don't really know what they're called, but that's what they look like. I then cut out one and glue it to a longer stick to give it the height I wanted, and repeated that 9 times.
Hi, so I'm done with this part of the windows. As you can see, I just finished. Can I just say that it looks like a gel cell? I don't know, but I'm not done. I'm gonna put the lateral stuff too. It's just I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet. There you go. So I really think it looks less like a gel cell. So I think next step is I'm gonna put the door back, and after that I'm gonna do the roof. I'm gonna use these cardboard. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough to do the front, but I know I at least have enough to do the arch. So I'll see from there.
So to reattach the door, I simply did some holes in the door and in the house at the same height and took some cords to reassemble the two parts together. It's not perfect even though I really tried. I think I made the holes a little bit too big, so the door is a little bit leaning on the side, but I don't really mind. I realized that the door was a tight fit anyway, so it wouldn't close all the way, so it does the job. After that, like I said, I did the roof. For that, I cut one of the two sides that folded to really give me the length of the roof I wanted. And then I just tried to figure out how to put it on. This part really wasn't easy. It would probably be easier with someone else to help me hold everything together. But whatever, it ended up working and I'm not gonna question how it did it. I'll just say I'm fabulous and I can do anything. But yeah, one of the big struggle was the folding point that really didn't want to stick out. So I used the remaining wood cone that I used and used them as support. I then finished the house with the arch part. I just used some cardboard that was laying around. And now that that was done, we're finally on to the best part, the paint. So when I browsed on the internet for some inspiration, the first thing I told myself, even though I wanted a gingerbread house feeling, is I don't want it to look like a gingerbread house. I wanted more like a wintry cottage house maybe. Anyway, that meant I wanted to stick in the palettes of white and gray. I thought it would look different, but also maybe it would fit better with the season. I'm not a big Christmas girl, but I love winter. I like skiing and decorating with lights outside, and yes, I'm 23 and I like to make snowmen, and for sure coming back to hot cocoa inside. So that's the feeling I wanted to give. I still added some texture on the roof as a biscuit would have. Every roof has some texture, and this is the easiest one to do, but also gives it the little gingerbread youse that I wanted to. It also looks a little bit wonky where the camera is placed, but I can assure you it looks straight. I think when the paint dried, it warped everything inwards, so from you guys' perspective, it looks worse. So part 37 of this big project was to find a way to make frosting. Now, the first thing I thought was pool noodle. I would just carve all around it to make it look like frosting, but I could not find anything at this time of year. So I went with origami instead. It took me a while, but with these pictures, I was able to create an idea of what I wanted to do. First step I came up with was to cut this shape into paper, then I would fold it in the middle so it would look like this when folded. Then I would glue 6 pieces together with normal glue, and voila, it would look something like this.
Hey guys, so I'm actually starting cold, so sorry for my voice. That's one of the reason I hate doing voiceover. But yeah, I'm super happy being in PJs right now since I'm sick. But I almost finished painting everything. I also added this little chimney and I did all of these. I'm gonna try to put the most that I can. That was almost 40 pieces of paper to do just all of that. So I'm not sure how much I'll be able to put here with these 50 pieces. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put as much as I can for right now and see like how much I can do. So yeah, let's go.
So I did everything as I said. I just put a little bit more of hot glue in the middle where the seam was because some of them were ripping apart. I think the normal glue just wasn't enough for the bending I wanted to do with it. Next step was these Christmas ornament for the door and the rooftop. I just shoved everything in this bag and put them where I felt was right. One thing I didn't show on camera is I had these miniature ornaments so I could cover the weird spots. I didn't remember that in my drawing I didn't put some ornament in the top of the door, but I think I love it this way either way, so I don't mind if I went a little bit off. I also maybe wanted to put more on the roof, but as I looked into the bag, I realized I didn't have enough, so I went with my original plan. These beads were next. I didn't really have a design on top of the window, but since I didn't really like how they look like, I thought that a little bit of bedazzle would do the trick. I also think it looks a little bit like icicles on top of the window. I also used the remaining of the beads for the other side where I didn't put any windows. I then went with my silvery gray over every surface I wanted it to pop a little, and I did a little scenery of frosted tree in the distance. I was really in the moment and just feeling what I was doing, and I love how it turned out. It still look part of the house, but it's a little bit different from the other side, so that's why I love it. Now, with a little behind the scene of my setting, one thing I did when I was sick was painting the inside. Sorry I don't have the footage, but at the same time, it took me 3 days. So I'm not sure how I could have put the footage together so it would look cohesive. The next thing and the last big thing on my plan was this chimney. I really wanted to paint a chimney in the inside as a decor, and after some more matte, yet again, I did some line to be able to paint what I wanted. And can I tell you guys how hot it was inside of this thing? I don't remember a cardboard box being this hot when I was a kid. I don't know if it was the light that I had or if it was just hot in my house, but I ended up opening the patio door for like 30 minutes and it's starting to snow outside, so it was hot. I also had so much fourmis dans les pieds. You know, when you have like feet or tickling. Anyway, it looks like I'm too old for this.
Hello. Hello.
Now, on to the last part, the accessories. I'm for sure starting with the fairy lights. That really was a must for something like this. And as you can see on my face, I love the result. I then found this fabric to use as curtain. I had just the right amount to cut it in three and be done with it. I then remember I had these clips and I thought it would be a good way to hang up pictures. So I painted it white and put it in. I also have this little thingy around the house and I just thought it would be a cute little handle. I also found this velcro so I could have the curtain up if I wanted to. And that was the final touch.